Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2016 America's Winter Championship, where it's all tied up at 2 apiece in the semi-finals match between Puffin and Zen Style. The winner of Game 5 will go through to the Grand Finals, so there's quite a bit riding on this game. They're both seasoned veterans, though, so I'm sure this kind of pressure won't have too much of an effect on the gameplay. So just before we get into this last game, let's do a quick recap of our competitors. So Puffin, he's fresh off a win at the most recent Innkeepers Showdown tournament, which is a very prestigious tournament in the competitive Hearthstone scene, and he's looking to continue his winning streak here today. Thus far, he's won with a Freeze Mage and a Zoo Warlock, and he'll be going into Game 5 with his Oil Rogue. And then we have Zen Style, who back in the old days of Hearthstone used to absolutely crush the competitive scene. But in recent times, he hasn't done so well, not having a good finish in just over a year. So he's hungry today for that big win to solidify himself as a dominant force in competitive Hearthstone. And thus far, he's won with his Malygos Warlock and Midrange Druid, and now he'll be playing his Tempo Mage deck in the last game that we're just about to jump into. So Zen Style has picked up the Mana Worm and a bunch of one-cost spells, so the Mana Worm dream might be real. As we look over at Puffin's hand, he's picked up a slightly slower curve, but he's got that preparation in hand, which will come in handy almost certainly. At this moment, I'd probably like to tip the Oil Rogue just because I feel like it's favored because of the board clears and its ability to absolutely deny tempo for its opponent with things like Sap. So Zen Style opting not to go for the double Mana Worm start. This is a somewhat more passive play, but I think he's just testing the water and just easing into the game because it is Game 5. It doesn't want to go too ham and then just get a Blade Flow clear. Sorcerer's Apprentice picked up, which will this will make the next turn, assuming Puffin doesn't clear, much easier because he can set up that nice mirror entity. Hovering the coin, thinking about the Mana Worm. Second Mana Worm here would be absolutely amazing. Picking up an Azure Drake, sort of heading towards more of a mid-range curve at this point. Aggressively deals with the Mana Worm and clears out the Sorcerer's Apprentice for a nice board wipe. And this is what we're talking about before with the ability just to deny tempo and just claim the board back. It's much more aggressive in its ability to claim back tempo than, say, the Tempo Mage. But the Tempo Mage also has the ability to absolutely just snowball out. Very nice to hit the Arcane Missile on the first one, so you can just watch the other two go straight to face. The Tinker Oil here is not what you really want because you obviously want to get that nice combo going. They get 3 damage on your weapon, 3 damage on the board. But I think in this scenario, it's probably best because those Mana Worms just snowball out of control. Look, it's already a 3-3, and denying this 3-3, your opponent only has 3 cards in his hand, of which one is the coin, assuming he's been following along. And I assume Puffin, getting to the semi-finals, has probably been following along, so he knows if he plays this, then there's a pretty good chance that he'll just be able to curve out nicely and deal with the remainder of Zen Style's threats. And so that's what he goes with, a nice line of play. Mirror Image is one of those, I guess, controversial spells in Tempo Mage, where some people love it, some people hate it. But in this instance, it's going to do quite well because it's going to create a nice protection barrier for whatever gets Mirror Entity cloned. So Puffin picks up the Sludge Belcher. It's going to go for the Sludge Belcher. That's definitely on the higher end of things that you wanted to get cloned with Mirror Entity. But I think Puffin just feels like he's in such a domineering position at this point, he can just do almost whatever he wants. Fireball, this goodbye Sludge Belcher. So a nice clear here. Antonidas Coin is one of the most fun things to do as Tempo Mage because making a lot of fireballs is and then throwing in your opponent is particularly good fun in a semi-final event. Now he's picked up that Lower Theb. Lower Theb is very good in these situations to close out a game because it gives you a 2-turn window for an execute. Because you can drop that, hit in the face, well, eventually clear the board, hit with the Azure Drake in the face, and then set up where the Tempo Mage, being predominantly spell heavy, will more than likely stumble based on having +5 cost to each of their spells. Kel'Thuzad of the Unstable Portal. I feel like if he was slightly more ahead on board, this would be fantastic. But a 5-mana Kel'Thuzad is nothing to blow your nose at, I guess. but Lowerthep, he's going in for the kill. This is to make sure he holds board. So from this point, it's very hard for Zenstyle to come back, because he's got these such high curving creatures, but he'll have to drop that Antonidas to be relatively protected at this stage. Azure Drake also picked up, but I think Kel'Thuzad might be the play here, because it's a very beefy body and very hard to deal with. Unless, of course, you're a rogue and you have sap. But Azure Drake fishing for some answers. And he'll just opt to ping and pass from there. Sprint picked up. That's going to be interesting. But I think a good old Blade Flurry clear with the Deadly Poison might be in order here, because you get that spell damage going as well, which will clear everything and lets you do another 9 to face. But he's going to opt for Sprint. I think he thinks that this is a pretty good turn to Sprint, because he's got a pretty dominant board position, and he might even pick up another prep and be able to follow through and just clear the board anyway. Double backstab though, that's a very good pickup here. You're able to do a lot here. Excuse me. But here we are, 5-5 left on the board, and Zenstyle picks up an Arcane Intellect, still digging for those answers. Flamewaker was definitely something that would have been much handier in the early game. Now he's sort of not a great spot, but Counterspell, you know, might give him another turn maybe, because he still is on 30 HP. But Kel'Thuzad, very powerful for a 5 mana cost. But as we can see, Sap sitting in the hand of Puffin is just going to be able to deny that tempo straight away. Sap is one of the biggest cards in the game that can just absolutely deny tempo, because you basically render his entire turn useless for 2 mana. Obviously he gets to play it back down, but the idea is that you go in for the kill while you've sapped it. The double fireball pickup with the coin counterspell. But it might be, more than likely, it's too little too late at this point. As you can see, he's got quite a bit of burn in his hand with a Blade Flurry, Eviscerate, and a Thalnos. And even double Blade Flurry even. So he's got enough to spin twice and just throw all that rogue damage at his face. He might want to test for a second mirror entity, so dropping Thalnos here is pretty good. But he's in a very convenient position where he's able to test for most secrets, because Thalnos is very easy to deal with if it's mirror entity, and having a free spell to get counterspelled is definitely on the high end of things you want to do. Just going to make some acolytes. Short of a flame strike here, I think Zenstyle is going to be going home, ladies and gentlemen. So he's setting up for that 2-turn lethal. This is the last roll of the dice. Not even a piloted shredder fireballing itself will save you here, because Doomsay won't activate until the turn after you die. Mirror Image only just going to slow him down a little bit. With 6 damage, or 6 health left, it's not going to be the easiest thing to stop. Oh, he's making a good run at it. But with the second Blade Flurry, it's just a little bit brutal. Nothing can stop you. Not this time, Zenstyle. Not this time, I'm afraid, my friend. So it looks like he's bought himself one more turn, maybe? So he's just gonna Blade Flurry right here and just pick up a bunch more acolytes and look to clear the mirror images of young Jonah. There is a fringe situation where if he had, oh well, now that he's traded, it's pretty much game over. A Frost Nova from the Ethereal would give him another turn, but no such luck. Cone of Cold is just going to delay, not even delay, it's just going to sort of almost be a BM of an attempt to stop the game. Boombot's not quite killing him, but I think Zenstyle can see the writing on the wall at this point. And a good old festive greeting for a little bit of BM. Play out your hand. And so Puffin will be going through the grand finals of this event. His win streak continues. We'll see if he can win this with this event too, to put back-to-back massive tournament wins. Puffin is sure having a great 2015. That game was that was an interesting end to this semi-final series, in that we very much saw the domineering performance of an oil rig versus a tempo deck that doesn't quite curve out. Arguably, he might have been able to take that more aggressive Mana Worm Dreamline earlier on, but he decided to opt for a slower, more thing, and that sort of cost him. But obviously, we could see Puffin's cards, and he couldn't. So, based on that, it was probably the correct line to take. But I don't know. At least the aggressive line might have been a little bit better. You would have had that chance to, because he drew through his fireball. He got his Antonitis and made several fireballs. So, taking the aggressive Mana Worm line might have been good. Excuse me, because he could smork his opponent down to a lower HP and then finish it off with fireballs. But anyway, we'll be right back with the grand final coverage, and we'll see who Puffin is going. See if Puffin can take this one down as well. Thank you very much for listening to my So You Think You Can Cast audition. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it.